For thousands of years, people have looked at humanity and assumed that Homo sapiens were always destined to dominate the world. Yet the truth is far more surprising. Long before modern cities, technology, and civilization existed, Earth was home to several different human species, each fighting the same battle for survival. Today, only one remains. Why did Homo sapiens become the last human standing while all the others disappeared? The answer reveals one of the most fascinating stories in human evolution, and understanding it changes the way people see their own place in history. At first glance, the disappearance of other human species seems like a mystery that shouldn't even exist. After all, if species such as Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and Denisovans survived for thousands, or even millions, of years, what suddenly went wrong? Many people imagine a dramatic extinction event, but the reality was probably much more complex. Environmental changes, competition for resources, population size, migration patterns, and social structures all played important roles in human evolution. Anthropologists have discovered that some human populations were surprisingly small, making them more vulnerable to disease, climate shifts, and simple bad luck. Imagine a small village facing repeated droughts while a neighboring group continues to expand into new territories. Over generations, even tiny disadvantages can become enormous. The fossil record and genetic evidence suggest that the story wasn't about a single catastrophe but rather a long survival contest that unfolded across thousands of years. And that naturally raises an even bigger question. If many human species faced similar challenges, what made Homo sapiens different? Most people immediately assume that Homo sapiens survived because they were simply smarter. It sounds logical, doesn't it? But when scientists began studying ancient human species more closely, the picture became far less straightforward. Research conducted throughout the 20th and 21st centuries revealed that Neanderthals created sophisticated stone tools, controlled fire, hunted large animals, cared for injured members of their groups, and may have even practiced symbolic behaviors. Some archaeological discoveries suggest that their cognitive abilities were much closer to our own than people once believed. In fact, intelligence alone doesn't always guarantee survival in nature. A brilliant individual stranded alone in a harsh environment may struggle, while a moderately skilled group working together can thrive. Evolution rarely rewards intelligence by itself. It rewards whatever traits help a population survive and reproduce over time. So if other human species were already capable, resourceful, and intelligent, perhaps the real advantage of Homo sapiens wasn't found inside a single brain at all. Perhaps it emerged from something that connected many brains together into a much larger system. One of the most powerful ideas in human evolution is that survival may have depended less on individual strength and more on collective cooperation. Homo sapiens appear to have developed an extraordinary ability to share information, coordinate actions, and build trust across larger social networks. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar famously explored the relationship between social complexity and human cognition, while many modern researchers argue that language became one of the greatest survival tools ever created. Think about it. A single hunter can only learn from personal experience, but a group that communicates effectively can pass knowledge from one generation to the next without starting from scratch. A discovery made by one person can benefit hundreds. A warning about danger can spread in minutes instead of years. Even today, people rely on this same principle every day, whether learning from books, schools, or the internet. Homo sapiens may have gained an enormous advantage by creating larger, more connected communities capable of sharing ideas, solving problems together, and adapting faster than their rivals. But communication alone wasn't enough to guarantee survival, because the world itself never stopped changing. If there is one lesson that appears again and again throughout human evolution, it is that adaptability often beats specialization. Homo sapiens spread across deserts, forests, mountains, grasslands, and eventually some of the coldest regions on Earth. Instead of depending on a single environment or food source, they constantly adjusted their behavior to match new challenges. Archaeological evidence shows that different Homo sapiens groups developed unique tools, hunting techniques, clothing, and survival strategies depending on where they lived. Evolutionary biologists frequently point out that flexibility can be one of the most valuable traits a species possesses because the environment is always changing. Imagine two groups facing a sudden climate shift. One insists on doing everything the old way, while the other experiments, learns, and adapts. Which group is more likely to survive? The answer seems obvious. This remarkable ability to innovate and adjust may have helped Homo sapiens navigate periods of extreme uncertainty that challenged other human populations. Yet another fascinating discovery would eventually complicate the story even further, because evidence began to suggest that the disappearance of other humans may not have been a complete disappearance at all. For a long time, many scientists believed that Homo sapiens completely replaced every other human species they encountered. It was a simple story. One group survived, the others vanished. But then genetics changed everything. In 2010, research led by geneticist Svante Pääbo and his colleagues revealed that many modern humans carry Neanderthal DNA, while some populations also possess Denisovan ancestry. In other words, the story wasn't just about competition, it was also about connection. When different human groups met, they didn't always fight. Sometimes they cooperated, lived alongside one another, and even had children together. Fragments of those ancient encounters still exist inside billions of people today. It's a remarkable idea. Other human species may be gone as separate populations, yet part of them continues to live on within modern humans. The fossil record tells one part of the story, while genetics reveals another. And when both pieces are combined, an even deeper question emerges. If intelligence, cooperation, adaptability, and genetic mixing all played a role, what was the fundamental reason Homo sapiens ultimately became the only surviving human species? The survival of Homo sapiens was probably never the result of a single advantage. It wasn't just intelligence, physical strength, technological innovation, or simple luck that allowed our species to endure while many others disappeared. Instead, it was the unique combination of communication, cooperation, adaptability, and the ability to accumulate and share knowledge across generations. These traits enabled humans to solve problems collectively, adjust to new environments, and pass valuable lessons from one generation to the next. Evolution rarely crowns the strongest competitor or the most dominant species. More often, it favors the population that can respond most effectively when conditions change and unexpected challenges arise. Throughout history, climates shifted, resources became scarce, and new threats emerged, yet Homo sapiens repeatedly found ways to adapt. Few species in Earth's history have demonstrated that remarkable capacity for resilience and flexibility as successfully as Homo sapiens. Perhaps the most important lesson hidden inside this story is that the same qualities that helped our ancestors survive millions of years ago still matter today. The ability to share knowledge, work together, adapt to uncertainty, and embrace new ideas remains one of humanity's greatest strengths. When people ask why Homo sapiens won evolution, the answer may be simpler than expected. They became masters of change. And in a world that never stops changing, that might be the most valuable survival skill of all.